Hello everyone. We're here at Ikano Bank. I'm Sanna Kirjalainen.
I'm Johanna Nieminen.
And we're here to interview Tuuli Lehmusto. Hello Tuuli.
Hello. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Nice to be here. We're just going to start with the questions.
Sure.
Could you tell us a little bit about Ikano Bank?
Sure. So Ikano is a small Swedish bank. We operate in 9 different markets in Europe. We have 1,000 employees in total, but here in Finland we are a very small office, so we have 17 people total working here locally in Finland. So it's basically a sales office only.
Yeah.
And my title is head of B2C, so head of business to consumer. So basically I run our consumer business here in Finland.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you employ bachelors of business administration?
We do, yes.
Okay.
In fact, we do. So we employ BBAs both here locally and also, of course, in other markets. And in different roles, different kinds of positions. So, for instance, controlling or finance, sales, customer service. So, depending on your like what kind of things you are interested in. So, different roles.
Okay. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your job at Ikano and what are your responsibilities?
Sure, like I mentioned, I'm the head of B2C, so running a business line is basically covering everything related to that. So starting from new customer acquisition, so we try to find new people to get our credit or becoming bank's customers, and then all the way to the customer journey or customer life cycle to the end, so when people decide to leave us for one reason or another. So all different processes related to that. And then, so I have a sales responsibility and a P&L responsibility, so profit and loss, so budgeting and all that. I handle basically all our partner contacts, so we have B2C partners, so I talk to them. This morning I went to a meeting at IKEA. Product development, so small and big stuff we need to do with our products, that's my responsibility. And projects, all kinds of things. So it's quite a broad job description, and I have one direct report at the moment, so one person that's reporting to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So when applying for a job, how important is a good CV?
Well, that's super important.
What makes a good CV?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It's of course that I'm sure you would get different replies depending on a person you ask. But for me, it's first of all, it's quite important that it looks clear. It's easy to read. It's comprehensible. It's kind of nice professional layout. You don't use any exotic fonts or kind of I don't know, like fancy. What are they called, like frames or anything? And it has to be like a tailored for the job that you are applying for. So if you are applying for a job in sales, I think you need to kind of try to demonstrate different kinds of skills than you do when you're, for example, applying for a job in controlling. And it kind of shows if you have only done one CV and you send that same one to all different positions that you're applying for, you can kind of quite easily see that it's like a generic one. And of course it should list like relevant tasks for our jobs or your previous experience that you have done for that specific job. So maybe for one position the relevant things are kind of different than for another one. And it shouldn't be too long. I don't think it, I mean for people at our age, I don't think that's often a problem. That you would have too many previous jobs, but it can happen. So try to pick the ones that would be the most relevant.
Yeah.
You want a picture on it?
Yeah, absolutely, but
maybe not an Instagram photo or anything.
Try to be kind of conservative. Pick the one that your grandmother would pick. So I think then you are safe.
Yeah.
So don't show too much skin. That's gonna.
No Snapchat.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Could you please give us some advice on how to act in a job interview, and what are the typical mistakes that people make in the interviews, and how can you make an impression, good impression?
Sure. First of all, try to relax. I know it's not easy, but I think that is the most important thing. And remember that the person that is interviewing you, who's sitting on the other side of the table, like, she knows that you are nervous. So that is fine. There's nothing wrong about being nervous. So try to kind of embrace the situation and accept the fact that this is kind of maybe a little bit exciting, but that's okay. And that the person also, like, who is doing the interview wants you to succeed as well. So it's not like she also wants you to be a good candidate. So it shouldn't be about kind of being very tough or anything like that. Try to smile and look at the interviewer in the eye. That's always good. Keep a good contact. Try to kind of be responsive and listen carefully. I know that's also very can be hard when you're super nervous, but if you are able to build a conversation that's actually going both ways, I think that creates a nice atmosphere and helps you to become more relaxed as well. I think it's also good to show at least some level of excitement, that you are kind of interested in the job that you are applying for, and interested about the company, and this might be a super nice thing for you. And also try to somehow demonstrate that the company would also profit from you being there. So it's not only about you being able to fill in certain criteria, but there would actually be some clear benefits for the employer when they would hire you. Because there will definitely be some. You just may not be aware of it. So just be prepared. Think about what kind of things would be good for the company or the person who is doing the interview. How they could maybe get some nice things out of you. There are, I suppose there are so many things on the internet that you can read beforehand to be prepared, like a lot of instructions, and that's absolutely fine. But I think in the end, it's the most important thing is to try to be yourself, because that's what. And I know it's a cliche, but that's in the end, that's what you need. That is what the employer will get, because when you turn up for work every day, every morning, it's gonna be you as a person there working. So you can't pretend to be someone you're not.
Yeah, that's true. So, what are the most essential employability skills for a Bachelor's of Business Administration?
I had to make a list.
You did, is it a long list?
It is a long list. But I think we have some time.
Yes, we do.
So we can maybe discuss these in more detail. There are so many, and it's when you're young and maybe applying for your first or second real job. It's fully understandable that you may not have the substance, or you may not maybe know all the specific things that are related to that job, but the employability skills are exactly the ones that you need to demonstrate. Also, because the person who is doing the interview also knows that you are not an expert, and that's fine. You have still gotten the interview. So you need to be able to tell that you would be a great person for that job, even despite maybe you don't have that kind of a super long experience. So first of all, if I start with the very basics, I think the kind of self-management is the most important one. So being able to wake up in the morning and also go to bed early enough so you got enough sleep so that you can be as good as you can be during the day. Because I mean, if you always get 5 hours sleep, I think maybe you're not going to succeed as well as you probably could. Be on time, kind of obvious, but still maybe good to remind people about. And kind of taking care of yourself, so getting enough sleep and maybe exercising or whatever, doing things that you like. I don't know what kind of having some hobbies outside of work as well. So having a good work-life balance, I think that's...
Being able to relax.
Exactly, and having something else to do as well besides work. I think that's really important. Then the second thing on my list is being nice. Maybe also a bit obvious, but it's also being nice to people who may not always be nice to you. So kind of trying to stay professional and being positive. I think that's super important. That's like, because that is what creates a nice atmosphere at work as well. Then another thing that young people are especially good at is accepting change, and I think that is definitely something that you should somehow be able to demonstrate, because that is something that I'm quite sure that a new applicant at a job would have. That is a skill that maybe people who have been working for that company for 10 years or 15, 20 years, they may be starting to get more reluctant to change over again, because they have kind of seen that. But you are new, you are young, and you are enthusiastic, and you are willing to understand maybe new directions where the company could go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then also leading your own work. What I'm thinking about is that...
like self-management.
Definitely. So kind of when you will have different tasks that you will need to do, first of all, try to stick with the deadlines. That's really important. And then also the understanding that there will be tasks, there will be different things you need to do. That will be really hard. So that, for instance, you will get poor instructions, or no one really explained what the goal is, or you don't understand how to use the tools that you are supposed to use. Those things will happen for sure, for everyone. So you need to be able to raise a flag, like say, okay, now I'm not quite sure what I need to do, or I haven't really understood what the target is. So you need to be able to go to a boss or your colleague to ask for more instructions, and also to highlight that now it looks like I'm not going to reach the deadline, so I will need help with this. This is too hard for me. So that is surprisingly difficult, I think, because often when you are new, you think that you will need to kind of know everything and be really good, and you can't really show like weakness, because then it would it's somehow it is not a good thing. But everyone understands that, because that happens to everyone. Also for the people who have been working for the company for a long time, it happens to me all the time that I don't really know what is expected from me. But then I need to ask, and I need to be really proactive. So I think that is a very good skill that you should somehow try to demonstrate. And then being willing to learn. I don't think this is an issue for students.
No, it's not.
Yeah, learning new stuff, that happens every day. So that's definitely a skill that we need to have. And then being flexible. So sometimes we need to work late. That happens. So understand that, and then another day you can maybe leave earlier. That's how it is. If someone's sick, volunteer to do their work, help out. If there is something that's not 100% of your, or it's not your responsibility, but someone asks you to do it, volunteer, because then at some other points they will help out as well. And then I was talking with a colleague about this, and communication skills, I think they are often highlighted, like they are often the first thing that you read when you go to internet and like Google employability skills, then it's often communication skills, and those are often skills that many of us have. I mean, it's kind of it's on almost every CV that I have good communication skills. But I think nowadays, especially writing is something that you often need, and it can be hard to evaluate if an applicant is actually good in like professional writing, because in certain positions it's quite important that you are able to produce a nice readable text and write professional emails. And I think that's especially an issue with your native language. So if you are writing in another language, people of course they understand, but it's not your native language. But for instance, when writing in Finnish, I think it's quite important that you know your grammar and you know how to use your full stop and capital letters and all of that. Yeah. So English not an issue, Swedish that's fine if it's not your native language, but Finnish, try to find your grammar book. Yeah. You want more? I have plenty still left. Yeah.
You can keep on going. We have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that's actually can actually it's a way of standing out from the crowd. I think it's not giving up. So often when you face some kind of obstacles or you have a task and it's so hard, and it would be so much easier just to let it go and no one wouldn't even notice. But being able to carry that through, that's so important, and that is also something that I think it's also a way of standing out. If you are able to get a job, that's also something that will take you further. It will help you get a promotion. It will help you to get another position in that same company. So somehow try to demonstrate that you have that kind of a skills if you have it. So try to put it on your CV. For instance, explain if you have done something that was hard and succeeded in the end anyway. Try to find out how you could put that on your CV. I don't know what it could be like. If you wanna like start some kind of a dog dance, I don't know, club or whatever, and it may not be easy, but if you succeed in that, and if you are able to find other people who are interested in that as well, and maybe you put together a show or something, that's fantastic. I mean, somehow show that you
persistence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Try to find a way to demonstrate that.
Yeah.
Then I have analytical skills. So I think analytical skills in both in the sense of being able to kind of look into details, like being very detailed, but then on the other hand being able to see the big picture. I was trying to think about an example, but it was quite hard. But if you, like for instance, I have a friend who participates in track and field competitions or sports competitions, and she's always the one who types down the results or the times that the athletes get. So that would, for instance, definitely demonstrate analytical skills, I think. Yeah. So this kind of activity that you do at your free time. Then maybe a softer skill, but like self-motivation, or like more of an entrepreneurial attitude. So trying to identify things that you want to do, and then also related to persistence, like you mentioned, somehow being able to carry that through.
Yeah.
I think that's quite important. And for instance, that dog dance club would be a way of showing that.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, I had a prioritization. So being able to prioritize your daily work, like what you do.
Yeah.
Some things are important and some things can maybe be done tomorrow. So. Yeah, long list. And I'm sure you can find more on in the internet.
Okay. You did tell us a lot, but how do you see, how common are these skills among applicants that apply, for an example here, the jobs?
I mean, quite common, honestly, but I think one of the reasons is that you have to have a certain level of ambition to apply for a job in a small bank.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of a...
It kind of narrows the applicants down.
Exactly, yes. But it's also important to remember that no one has all of these. So try to demonstrate the ones that you think are either the most relevant for that specific job, or that you feel that are your strongest skills. So it's absolutely fine that you don't need to be both super verbal or like very much into numbers. No one is, or at least I don't know anyone who is. But try to pick the ones that you think that fit best for that specific interview.
Okay. Are these skills easy to identify in a job interview?
Mostly yes, I think. Not all, but mostly yes. But still I would say that try to find a way to demonstrate these skills or the skills that you have.
Yeah.
Try to find examples and put them into your CV or the cover letter. And also at the interview, be prepared to share some examples, like some nice details of the things that you have done. Something that maybe, and it would even be better if it would be something that you could together laugh about. So it would be something that the both of you will remember then.
Do you use any psychological tests?
We do use psychological tests, not always, so depending on the job. I think mostly on a more senior level, I would say that we do use. At least that's how our process
Yeah. What
goes.
kind of tests are they?
Online tests,
Yeah.
mostly, and then we do some interviews as well.
Yeah.
Like
kind of grading people somehow.
Yeah, it's because I had to take one, or I have actually taken it twice, and it's quite interesting because it's actually not grading, but it kind of
like analyzing the
analyzes
person.
you, and it also analyzes your understanding of yourself. So if your perception of yourself matches with other people's perception of you, so kind of a self-understanding, if you can say that. So that's also quite interesting because it's not grading, but it's kind of a personality type of thing.
Yeah. What employability skills do you think that bachelors of business administration will need in the future?
This is really interesting, and I think it's more like what kind of skills people need overall role in the work life in the future. I think it's not only the BBAs, but it is more like everyone working in certain type of jobs. Like not maybe like producing, but on the like white collar type of jobs. And this is of course only my opinion, but I think self-management will become more and more important, because I think work life is becoming more and more fast-paced.
Hectic.
Very hectic. And you need to be, exactly, and you need to be able to work a lot and be very efficient. And then at the same time you need to take care of yourself more and more, so that you can, on the other hand, be as good as you can be, but then on the other hand you yourself need to take care of having a proper work-life balance. So being able to like have some activities outside work as well, and to have some family time and getting enough sleep, and being able to also disconnect. I think that will become more and more important in the future. So being able to turn off your phone, or not opening your laptop in the evening. So because I think people themselves will need to start taking care of not having a burnout. So it will become more of your responsibility as well, trying to understand what you need to do.
Your own limits.
Exactly, so knowing your own limits. It's not your employer or your boss. They can't do it for you in the end. They can of course help you, and they should help you, but it's you in the end who will need to set your limits. Then another hot topic of course is digitization and Internet of Things. That may be more of a high level thing, but I think that will definitely change work life. And we need to accept that there will be more and more data about us. And we will be monitored, and we should accept that it's fine. It's not. The data should be used to help us to be efficient when we need to be, and then unwind or not work when we shouldn't work. And I think here also the analytical mindset helps. So trying to understand what kind of data there will be. And I think, I don't know, you should tell me, but I feel like schools are often not the kind of the forerunners of using new technology. At least in some cases. I know that at least I went to university and that was like ancient. So I think in the future, I think we are more expected to kind of use technology outside working hours. So trying to kind of stay know what's going on in the world, and then because the work life will change, and we will be digitized here locally. So we should kind of understand what will happen and be prepared for that also. Not free time.
We don't have any more questions on the paper or not in here, but can I ask you about your employability skills? What is your number one skill?
I was just laughing with a colleague. I probably have none of these. I don't know. So at least some kind of what is it called? Like I don't know, because I wanted to do this interview, for instance. So some kind of courage, I suppose. Or, I think that's one of my top skills.
And you're nice also.
I'm so nice. I'm very nice. I'm not very good with time management, for instance. So that's definitely one of my challenges. So I would very much need to be more focused and try to kind of understand how I spend my time. I'm good at prioritizing. I think that's one of my good sides. And I think I'm also kind of thinking outside the box. That's something that I have, because when I've done these personality tests, that's always something that I hear, that I'm not very conventional. So trying to find, always if I get a no, I find another way going around that. So.
Yeah. How do you find if people can show where they need to be focusing on? Is it important, like for an example in a job interview, if there are things that the person feels that they need to improve, do you find it important them to see what is their topic to improve?
Yeah, definitely. I think I absolutely think so, and I think it all comes back to this. I'm not sure if it's self-understanding, but knowing your like where you are good at, because no one's good at everything. So it is quite important that you understand what are your strengths. And then what are your areas to be improved? Not weaknesses, but because everyone has different sides, so it's not like we should excel in everything, but understanding and also maybe looking for colleagues that can support you in these things that are not your best sides. It also creates a good team to find people who are good in different things.
Yeah. So it's not a wrong answer if someone answers in a job interview that I'm not good at this, but I know that I have to be better in the future.
And when you know that you are not good in something, you can kind of try to mitigate the risks. So you know that you are always late. So you accept that. Okay, I know that I'm always late. So next time I know that I have to be there at 1 o'clock sharp. So I will try to be there at 12:30. So maybe I will be there at 1:45. So. Yeah. Maybe not the best example, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just you question. How about the ability to take risks in the banking field?
Risks, yeah. Banking is all about risk. That's like at the very core of banking and pricing risk. In Europe, banking and finance is changing right now quite a bit. There are new regulation and like a new technology coming every day, and different actors. And I think in finance, it is becoming more and more important that you are a type of person that is willing to find new ways of working and understanding different kinds of risks and also maybe the consequences, trying to evaluate what kind of consequences there might be and what kind of price tag there might be as well.
Okay. How would you analyze digital competences?
Of an applicant, I think. It's always good if you can show some examples, like for instance if you have done some coding or
some kind of portfolios.
Definitely. If you've done some 3D animation, that's fantastic, and it doesn't have to be a full match. So only if you show that you have been able to do something related to that, you will be more likely to learn new things as well. So it will be easier for you if you have done something similar previously. So it doesn't have to be like you have done that exact thing, but you have shown that you have like built web pages, or you have had like image blog or whatever. So that I think that is one of the best ways of showing that you have certain type of technical skill sets.
What changes does a person who has worked as a trainee have to get a long-term position in your company?
If you are able to get a position as a trainee, then you are like halfway there.
Okay.
And that's like the biggest step for sure. And I would definitely encourage everyone to try to find nice positions. And then of course during that period try to be the person that like your colleagues like. They are more likely to recommend you to your manager. Your manager will ask your colleagues about you if he or she should keep you. And try to demonstrate the skills that we have discussed already earlier. So try to show that you are reliable and you will do your job. And if you have seen that maybe you lack some skills or there are some areas that need improvement, try also to show that you are not taking that as a critique, but more like you are I'm accepting that and I'm trying to work with that.
There are a lot of questions here.
But that's fantastic.
How do you value hard versus soft skills in terms of advancement to management positions in a company, and which are more important in your opinion?
I think that that varies, so it differs quite a bit from company to company. Here at Ikano, for instance, you can always learn the hard skills. So I think we have traditionally valued soft skills quite a bit, and interpersonal skills and leadership skills.
Okay.
But then again, there are, for instance, the more technical positions or roles or companies, there you of course need to have a different type of hard skill set.
Okay. Does your company already using HR analytics?
A little, but definitely not to full extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an evaluation system for employees' performance at work? Are there bonuses for top performers?
We at Ikano, we don't have bonuses. I know that a lot of companies do.
Okay.
At the moment we don't. We do have a type of evaluation, but it's more like a personal evaluation, not comparing employees to each other.
Okay. What about your corporate social responsibility? Hard question.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm answering directly to that question, but here at Ikano we have strong values, and we definitely try to live according to our values. And for instance, we have a social day, 2 days, so that's all the employees of Ikano go to work in different types of what are they called, like social events or supporting like elderly homes or working with children. Yes.
Oh, that kind of days.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you have career plans for your employees and trainees?
We do, yes, but it's we do. It's more related to, again, this personal evaluation and more like interviewing the employees themselves. So we try to find out good paths for everyone, so that they would become, or they would be able to develop themselves, and also to learn new things and kind of stay interested, because I think that's also quite important, that you have you stay motivated.
What do you do to promote work-life balance? Work and life. Personally, I try to show a good example. Oh, okay.
I try not to work long hours, honestly.
Okay.
I think that's one of the first things, that the management also needs to show that they also have life outside office hours. We follow people's hours. So if if people work too long, we like address the issue, try to understand why and if they need help. We will have in May we will actually have 2 hours for family event. So all Ikano employees will leave work 2 hours early to be with their families.
Oh,
so that's quite
that's
fun.
a good thing.
Yeah.
How would you define Ikano Bank's organizational culture?
We are, like I said, we are a small Swedish family-owned bank. So we are quite on the banky bank. We are very relaxed.
Yeah.
We are the bank where people wear jeans and sneakers. We try to be quite non-hierarchical and easy to approach. So we don't have like top management who will work from somewhere else or have corner offices. Our top management works in the same kind of offices than everyone else.
Yeah.
It's quite relaxed atmosphere here. So.
Yeah.
What do you recommend to universities to implement in their curricula so the student would be better prepared to enter the workforce?
This is really hard. It's the leap from school to work. It is quite long, and like for instance, this kind of events I think are quite valuable. And meeting people, alumni, for instance, who work in different companies in different positions, I think that helps. But I know it's not easy, and I don't think I have a direct answer to that. But I definitely think that there should be different kinds of activities, and maybe like the companies could visit the schools, or students we could do maybe some kind of a social event together, so that somehow the gap wouldn't be so long.
Sanna, do you have anything?
Not really, no.
There's no more questions here, so.
Really? Did we get everything?
But
so
it's
I think time's up here, so you got your last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I do.
Here's one more question.
Great.
Do you provide training for your new employees to introduce them your company better?
Yes, so we do have programs for new employees, different kinds of introductory kind of classes or programs. We do, and I think it's quite important, especially when you are new and you come for a like a permanent position. So it's important to learn to know the company and understand the culture and kind of to be better acclimatized.
Do you hire foreigners?
We do, and our headquarters in Malmö, they do hire as well.
Okay.
We are an international company.
Yeah.
So maybe websites are the place where you find.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think we're done here.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the interview.
It was pleasant to be here.